Tap it to the top of your head so it hit your crown too. Nice and open and connected. Oh, peace. Who up in here already? I thought I was sneaking into some stuff.
What's happening?
Hey, Terica. What's up, sis? You always be on point.
Indeed. How you been?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We miss y'all.
Mm-hmm. So we hope everything been well with y'all. Look like we got 4 people in here. So again, y'all, peace. Welcome to Remnantsgathering. As always, love and light and dark.
Ashe.
Yeah.
We hired a nanny, y'all, so we could do the show without no interruptions. But we only have her to 9 o'clock, so we're gonna try to get it in.
We're gonna roll.
It's kind of gonna be a cram session with a lot of information. However, the website will be available for you. And so the Eggdivination that we mentioned in the post, we're still going to do that. But what we're going to do is just go over it with you briefly. And then we're going to put the details, and then you'll be able to do it yourself.
Right.
But, okay, without further ado, peace to everybody. We love y'all. We miss y'all. Y'all ready? We finna get it in. Let's get it in. As you know, we usually start off with a song or some music. We're not going to do that tonight. But we definitely not going to do nothing without libating our ancestors and all of the god and goddesses and archangels and primordial feminine forces, demons, elementals, everything you can think of. We just want to make sure we acknowledge the spiritual realm.
Yes.
So Ernest is going to do the libations.
And so with that being said, without any further ado, I'm just going to give a big grand ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe. All right. And so you all, anybody that you want to recognize, just keep them in mind. And again, we just giving one huge ashe. All right?
Absolutely.
Ashe to all ancestors, both known and unknown.
Yes, ashe.
Ashe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now the space has been set. Let's get into the set. We got a plan for y'all. So first, since the Eggdivination is not going to be as much content we're going to try to cover tonight, we're going to go over the basics with you all if this is new for you. And then the deepest part of tonight's show is discussing hell and demons and what that really is and how that was misinterpreted to us in religion for those of us who came through religion.
Right.
So with the Eggdivination, I'm going to share a little family story. So as a kid, my family were doing egg divinations and cleansings and healing as a kid, but I didn't really know what was going on. So what happened was we stumbled across it, and when I was looking at the information about it, I was like, yo, my folks used to do that. And so as a kid, my memory was, I remember it looking like a castle. Once you crack the egg and put it in some spring water in a glass, it was shaped like a castle to me, or like the top of a carnival tent. Mm-hmm. And as a kid, that's what I associated it with. So, and so we came across it. I was just looking for some new ways to practice divination to get clarity as to your spiritual path and cleansing, healing of entities. Lower dimensional frequencies that's not benefiting you. We came across this. So first thing that I think is important to share is that you want to get an egg. It don't matter whether it's white or brown. Okay. I think using an egg room temperature is best. Some people say cold, you know. Mm-hmm. So just go with your intuition, what feels right for you. And so what you're going to do is you're not going to touch your body. Okay. You're just going to take the egg and you're going to start with the crown of your head, okay? And you want to kind of go in a downward motion, meaning you're kind of like this, you know what I'm saying? All around the head from the top. Make sure you do the front. And then you're going to do your face, your neck, Every part of your body, you want to wipe it with this egg and just in your energetic field, in your aura. Now, if you are doing this because you want to heal something, let's say you hurt your arm or something, right? Then you want to actually let it come into contact with that body part so that it can draw that energy out of there that's causing pain or dis-ease or whatever it may be.
Right.
Okay, so back to the divination, because we really kind of wanted to focus on that. So once you pass this egg across your whole body with your hands, be sure to don't leave out the palms of your hands and the back of your hands. It's really good to do it naked or just in some underwear.
Yeah.
And because everything holds energy, and so your clothes could be holding some energy, and it could throw off the divination. So if you can do this in your underwear or naked, that's even better. And once you get to your feet, make sure you do the soles of your feet too. After you've done that, you want to immediately crack the egg and put it in a glass of spring water. Don't use tap water. I think we use spring water.
Right.
Whether it's alkaline, spring water, whatever. You want to use clean water, okay? You're going to crack it, put it in there. Don't move it. Leave it there, okay? It's even better if you can leave it anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour before you attempt to see what it's telling you.
And we recommend that you at least put it in a glass container, maybe a mason jar, or maybe just a glass.
Yeah.
A clear glass, right.
So that you can see it really well. And so once you do that, let's say 30 minutes pass, an hour pass, and you go back in there and look at it. Make sure you put it somewhere it's not going to be disturbed, because you don't want the yolk and the water being moved around, because that will change the results. So once you go back and look at it, this is how you're going to kind of interpret and understand what's going on. And people have wrote books about this, so it's very extensive. But sometimes keeping something simple and just starting the journey and the process of learning how to divine for yourself, you know, that's good. That's a good place to start. You don't have to know every single thing.
Right.
So if you see bubbles in the water, if there are bubbles, sometimes those bubbles can represent your ancestors who are holding space for you, guarding and protecting you. And they can also represent angels who are guarding and protecting you. Okay? So this is when you will see little bubbles in there. That's usually what that represents. Now, if you put it in there and you see a little red spot, an area of blood, that means that there is a curse or hex that you're dealing with. Right? So if you see something black in there, same thing. It's letting you know that something that's not of good energy is benefiting you, and it could be even causing harm, right?
Yep.
Okay, so sometimes you can even see an image. It could be a face. It could look like a woman with long hair. It could look like a man with a beard. Just remember that using your creativity and your imagination is very important for anything magical. So if you see a feminine energy, a face, or a man, then it kind of gives you an idea of what either gender or what main energy the person this is coming through, is coming from. Okay? You can even see things like unks and crosses. It's really no limit to what shows up. Okay, it's just like laying out on the ground and looking at the clouds. And you're like, I see a rabbit. Somebody else like, it really like a duck. You know what I'm saying? So this is whatever your mind resonates with that comes to you, trust it. Okay? Am I leaving out anything? The main points? Okay. So if those things show up, now this is how you know it is absolutely nothing in your energetic field that is causing harm for you or causing blockages or spiritual growth. If your yolk just sinks to the bottom of the glass and it is perfect and unmoved and it's just sitting there nice and pretty, that means you don't have anything that you need to cleanse. But if your yolk is floating or in the middle,
like it's pulling,
right?
Yeah, you'll see it. It look like some
strings.
Yeah,
maybe.
It looks stringy. Yeah, like bands or something. Yeah.
This means that you are dealing with something that's going to require either an uncrossing or a spiritual bath or even just spiritually cleansing your home, okay? And so at that point, after you've done that and you've gathered what you feel resonates with you with the reading, you're going to pour it in the toilet and flush it. Nobody wants to drink that. You know,
Exactly.
you don't want to use it.
Yep.
Because again, the egg holds the energy of whatever was in your aura. So you want to dispose of it properly. Okay. Then you want to do a spiritual bath, and we recommend the one that Bobby Hemmett shared with the spoon of ammonia, the spoon of lemon juice, the spoon of bleach, some Epsom salt, Himalayan salt, sea salt, Celtic salt, black salt, whichever one you want to use, and soak in it so that whatever we was dealing with can come off of you.
Yeah, no less than 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And so what we're going to do, we're going to make sure we make that information available for you on the website as well. If you want some more details, I will put that in there. That's about it. Okay. Okay. So next thing. So, we reach out questions in your emails, and it seems like a lot of people in this phase of your spiritual awakening, you're trying to understand the Bible, heaven and hell, and a lot of the things that much of your life resolved around. You're trying to understand it from a higher perspective, a higher consciousness. So just in me seeking, this was the information I got. You probably want to take notes or something, because the information and stuff that we share and teach on here is stuff that you'll be able to look back to at any point in time and use it to help you on your path. Okay? So here's the revelation that came to me about hell. It was like just a download. I asked and the information just started coming to me. So hell, according to religion, we spell religion, legion, as in legion of demons, legion of demonations, denominations. Words will always reveal to you the true spiritual energy behind something.
Exactly.
So this is why y'all see us. It's not that we don't know how to spell religion, but I don't think we never explained that before.
Maybe.
But that's why.
Yeah. It's like they just gonna keep spelling it wrong.
Yeah, it's intentional.
Yeah.
Okay, so immediately after death, the souls of those who die in a state of mortal sin descend into hell, where they suffer the punishment of hell, the eternal fire. The chief punishment of hell is eternal separation from God, in whom alone man can possess the life and happiness for which he was created and for which he longs. So let me explain this and give you the truth. We all are already in hell.
If you didn't know.
Yeah. When we were born, we had no memory of our past lives, right? We had no memory of the meeting that we were a part of before agreeing to our soul's journey here. This is why we, kind of the born in sin thing. That's really, it's like born into this slumber. Born into this sin is something that considered something that separates you from God, right? So this is what the born in sin, shaped with iniquity really is. So when God expresses itself in the form of human form, and you come into this world, as soon as you come in, it's pain. The mama experiences pain and the baby experiences pain. So that is punishment, that is torture, it is pain, it is a form of suffering as soon as you come here.
That's right. Yep.
So basically this is like spiritual amnesia. So we were all dead from birth. Now, when I say death, I mean no awareness, no consciousness of what it means to live. Our divinity, our Holy Spirit, that's the part of us that's whole, is what we call our higher self, post-spiritual awakening. Our godhood was forgotten, and many of us didn't realize we were God and goddesses until we entered spiritual awakening. Even though the Bible says ye are gods, we did not live like we were gods. Living like a god or goddess requires accountability and responsibility of all our aspects, both dark and light. These are your potentials. So you may not be expressing certain shadow things about you, but the potential that you have to be dark, to do dark things, okay? You have to become accountable for those things, whether they are expressed or repressed, okay? So actually, religion taught us how to sweep our shadow selves under a rug called Jesus. And we believed that would just heal us, okay?
That's a program.
It is. It's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Cast all your cares upon him.
right.
Y'all remember that? Yeah.
That's the sweeping it away. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that means you don't really have to take any account for anything because you just cast them off. Yep.
So now our fragment cells are being gathered to make us whole again. This means returning to our prior estate, which is our godhood. Okay? Being unconscious and living below what the realm of consciousness, which is being woke, but living below that realm, that is hell.
Yep.
Okay? So we were the walking dead prior to our spiritual awakening. We were separated from the existence of Source, the Creator, and God. No matter what you call this force that brings things from the unseen realm to the seen realm, this energy is the only way we will create a new heaven and earth. For those of us awakening and gathering the remnants of ourselves from our traumatic experiences, we are entering heaven and exiting hell. The 3D dimension is hell. The incarnation process has been hijacked by beings that are trying to keep power by keeping the masses dead, unconscious, and asleep. For this reason, we must cancel all old soul contracts, create new contracts, explore the Akashic Records, which is the book of life in the Bible, and deliberately create self-love rituals, do shadow work, meditate. I know some of y'all trying to take notes, so but again, we're gonna when we do shows like this and stuff that we write, we're gonna make sure that we make it available for y'all. Okay, so you'll be able to go back to this if you missed something. Okay, or replay the video. There you go. So meditate, eat high vibrational foods, study, meta-pray, which is what we call meditation and prayer combined. And this is when someone who practices metaphysics prays as well. And connect with your ancestors to heal the bloodline, to clear karmic debt, which is healing generational curses. And use any other tools we have post-awakening to create our best life, which is heaven. And to be our best selves, which is your higher self, which is your God self. Okay, you want to pick up from there?
Okay. Now, this list may seem extensive, but there's no need to feel overwhelmed. Awakening does mean deeper soul work. It does require more tools to master yourself, but this is being done with the help most of us weren't aware of prior to awakening. We have spirit guides, animal totems, galaxy families, soul tribes, angels, which are beings that help use in order. We have our daemons, which help with chaos and death of things that don't serve us. And then, of course, we have our ancestors. We have the elemental spirits like our fairies, our netters, our orishas, and the 5 elements. All here to help us on our path to awakening. Take your time, release resistance, and allow change, and the transformation will happen without a lot of back-breaking work. We don't need to be perfect now to be our best selves. We must accept ourselves, learn to be authentic, live our truth boldly, and in our efforts to see God first, all other things will follow.
Woo!
Y'all remember that?
Ashe.
That was Matthew 6 and 33. Yeah.
Ashe. Okay. So now, with that being said, I've shared this image once before in the community part of our YouTube channel. If you missed it, go back and check it out. Okay. Who is this? Who is this? Like, why they sitting in the dark? I don't know. I just heard somebody say that. It really wasn't a big point of it, I don't know if my lipstick on right either, but y'all don't be judging me. So if y'all need to see us brighter, we might cut the light on or something. But I just heard that, and I don't know who was thinking, like, I wish I could really see them a little more. But we want to kind of get comfortable with darkness. So, it was kind of intentional too when we was getting ready to do the show. So yes, if you're wondering why we ain't got no lights on, that's some of the reason.
Yeah.
Okay, so this book is by Devin Hunter, and it's called The Witch's Book of Spirits. Okay, now in this book, he breaks down the physical plane and he breaks down the frequencies and how we can move upwards and downwards throughout these frequencies. And this is like the tree. This is the witch's tree. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is also can be related to what the Kabbalah teaches with the tree of life that has the spears on the tree of life, things of that sorts. You have Jachin and Boaz, those columns in the Masonic floor. All these things are depictions of the realms that we exist in.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now, with that being said, the worlds and their sub frequencies goes as this. So
you got your overworld,
mm-hmm.
And it has 4 planes explained on your overworld, being one is Omega,
Mm-hmm.
one is a void plane, one is the divine plane, and one is the angelic plane.
Mm-hmm.
And the Omega plane, the inhabitants are known. The void plane would be keepers and beings of outer darkness. Your divine plane inhabitants would be your primordial forces of order, the gods and saviors. And then, of course, your angelic plane would be the angels.
Then we have the physical realm and the plane, that's the world, okay? The plane is spiritual, and this consists of teachers, masters, fairies, light beings, ancestors, animal spirits, plant spirits, crystal and mineral spirits, and divas. Yeah, I remember when Beyonce was like, I'm a diva. Yeah, they've been trying to enlighten us for a long time.
Yeah.
And so within this plane, for some people, because like when we were kids, we believed in all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then after you live a little while longer, you just get like, ain't nothing real to you but what you can see, which you use with your 5 senses.
It's kind of you look back at it like it's childish.
Yeah.
But in essence, that's the way we supposed to be.
Yeah.
Have that childlike innocence.
Absolutely. Then we got the etheric realm, right? And this consists of fairies and familiar spirits and guides, okay? And then in the physical realm, because these are different frequencies within each realm.
Yeah.
So,
again, it's the worlds and their frequencies.
Right.
And we're talking about all the different worlds that there is.
Yeah. And so the sub-frequencies are included in here, so that's why you hear some of it being repeated. And of course, in the physical, we have humans, right? So the sub-etheric realm is also where the fairies and the familiars and the guides exist. Then the Plutonian realm is ghosts, land spirits, fairies, shadow people, ancestors, animal spirits, plant spirits, crystal and mineral spirits, and divas as well. Then we have the underworld. And this is the world that ancient Egypt like really, really expounded on and gave us a lot of the foundational groundwork to understand the spiritual realm and how it is associated with our everyday life. You want to read that one?
Push this one. Yeah. So in the underworld, again, you have 4. Ooh.
Different
Is it?
planes.
Wow.
Well, yeah,
though,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and so in the underworld, you got 4 different planes. One is the unhallowed plane, and the inhabitants of the unhallowed plane is demons. Okay, then you have the chaos plane, and that plane is inhabited by primordial forces of chaos, gods, and tricksters. Then you have the void plane, keepers, beings of the outer darkness. And then last again, you have the Omega plane, which the inhabitants are unknown.
So you have an as above, so below going on here.
Exactly.
Okay.
Did y'all see how? Yeah.
They're mirror images of each other,
Exactly.
the underworld and the overworld.
Yep.
And so within the physical plane, a whole lot of prisms and frequencies. And so he lists the frequencies, and he starts with 6 and goes down to 0, and he starts again with -6 and works its way back up to -1, right back to the 0.
Yep.
So again, it's just a mirror reflection of these realms.
Right.
And
As
so,
above, so below.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And so we happen to live in the realm that is the most dense. That's why a lot of emotional stuff, we're having to purge that stuff because we've been existing in hell in density, and now the rapture and quickening is happening. So our light body is being activated, so that we're able to descend and ascend throughout different spiritual realms. Now,
And basically, that frequency that we exist on is at the zero. It's zero.
and if y'all liking this, please hit thumbs up and let us know. This is the only way we're gonna know if we're actually, meeting a need for those who are going through the awakening. So be sure to hit the thumb, y'all, and like this and share it too. If you know somebody who will be interested, share it. And we see y'all comments, and then we'll scan through those after we read this last segment. It's one of the things I wanted to say. Okay. I was gonna say, oh, that's right. And I don't know if we're set up to do donations, but if you want to do the donations, I think you have to open like super chat or something to do that. But I don't know. You can do that donations as well. A lot of times, when somebody gives a donation, sometimes intuitively something that comes to me right in that moment, and that's just something that I have made available to you all, because I know some people just aren't able to schedule readings and just not really in that position right now to do that. And so I just want to remind y'all that that's something that's available to you when we're on live as well. Exactly. And I may not be able to do everybody, but I'll do the most that I can. Okay. Okay. So with that being said, and now that you kind of have a better understanding of hell and the different realms, back to the book. And again, I posted this page on the community part of the page, but a lot of the things that we read and have that we use for our shows and stuff, we're gonna make those things available to you as well. So
probably on the website. We just gonna create blogs of it and put it on our website.
Yeah.
So everything you will be able to find.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. So I'm gonna let you go over that, and then I'll read the last part.
Okay. As it relates to the worlds, the different worlds and their frequencies, it just says that each world is like a type of spiritual energy field, all unto itself, that can be accessed physically via shamanic practice, conjuration, astral travel, or through altered states of consciousness. As we move through the following chapters in this section, okay, and we highlighted the frequencies and the worlds of it, but we'll again put a link to this information so you all can be able to go and find it and read, because it's very interesting. I mean, 9 times out of 10, this is something that's unfamiliar to you,
especially in how taught. Deep it is.
Yeah.
And this is not an old book. This is a guy. He's actually a modern witch. He's still practicing.
But look where it had to come from in order for you to get this information. You know
Absolutely.
What I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so that's taboo within itself, because most people be like, huh?
Yeah. And now let me say this, and then I'm gonna pull a card for the collective. Thank you. Guys, don't forget to pull a card for the collective. Okay, thank you. So now that you have that further understanding of heaven and hell, and like your participation in creating it on earth, right, and escaping hell, I just want to say, first of all, that a very hellish thing to do is to kill people and kill their children and rape the women and everything that has been done in the name of God and religion. That alone sounds exactly like the depiction of hell throughout the Bible. So we don't even have to talk about all the other stuff that we experience. And that's just further confirmation that we're already here. So if you're afraid to work with spirits and orishas and ancestors because you're fearful that you will go to hell, hopefully this helps you to feel a little bit better, to know, that you already have experienced that, and you was born into hell and you're working your way out of it, right? And there's nothing to fear but fear itself. And nobody's above fear. Everybody experiences fear because we're human, having this experience to return to our godhood. And so you're not going to master every single thing in this lifetime. And so fear can be a really good thing sometimes, and it can protect you. But I also wanted to add to that that if you are someone who went into religion, you're definitely going to need to cancel those old contracts, because we told this Jesus entity to come into us, you know.
Yep.
We basically requested possession under the guise of this is what's going to help you in this thing called life.
Yep.
And so the reason why a lot of us are still struggling in our spiritual walk is because we have not canceled that possession.
Right.
Okay. And the Jesus entity still feels that it has rights in your life. And so if you've been having some issues and you don't quite know why you're not connecting, you know, I know sometimes me and Ernest talk about this. He has a hard time connecting. Mm-hmm. And, you know, recently he's like, yeah, I am starting to see residual from religion. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, we just want to let you all know.
And so I'm doing pretty much a breakdown. It's not nothing real exhaustive, but I'm doing a basic breakdown of the steps to breaking the soul contracts, and that was at the core of it, especially with us dealing with religion and coming out of different faiths. You know what I'm saying? Because in all cases, you had to allow that which you know what I'm saying, revert to embody you. You know what I'm saying? that entity had to embody you. You know what I'm saying? In order for you to allow it to take control. You know what I'm saying? We all yielded to it. You know what I'm saying? And we yield to it by asking it, like she said, to come into our hearts. You know what I'm saying? I remember as a Christian, I say, come into my heart, Lord. Mm-hmm. Fill me more with your spirit. You know, you follow what I'm saying? And so in order to break that, you got to call it back out.
You have to.
As simple as that.
Yeah, you have to. So some of us are fearful of connecting because that in the subconscious and unconscious part of your mind, you still have those teachers there, and that entity is like, no, don't do that. You're gonna go to hell. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Now this book is by Dr. Blind. It's called Functionary, and Bobby Hemmett talks about this book a lot among many other people. Yeah. I found the book and was reading it, and we did a video talking about it, and now that book has been completely wiped. Okay, all of my bookmarks are 404 file not found, errors. And so this just let us know that this book is important. So we're definitely going to be trying to get this book. But if anybody got it or have access to it or PDF or anything like that, send it to us. But it's even a video on YouTube that's supposed to cover that book.
And it's white.
And yeah, it has no sound. Throughout the whole hour and something video, absolutely no sound at all. And it don't even seem like the people who posted it even know that it's an issue with it. So we're down to the last about 15 minutes of the show. I'm going to read this part of Functionary, and then we're going to pull the card. Now, and another thing too, y'all donations and stuff, this is what it helps us to do to free us up so that we're able to be covering things in a different way. It's really hard to do it when you're trying to deal with the kids and stuff. So I just want y'all to know that this is what we're using it for. And we appreciate it so much. Every single time we see it come through.
Make it happen.
Yeah. It just reminds us how important it is for us to help each other in this awakening. Ashe. Thank you, one Miss Loving Life. Yeah. Yes, Ashe. Okay, so listen, here we go, y'all. So the stairway to heaven is really the scare way to heaven. Okay?
Keep going.
Okay. To bind again. The definition of religion is to bind again. It is a bondage. You can look this up. A deep reverence for that which is perceived to be external to and greater than one's self. This is why we struggle with self-esteem and confidence and are having a hard time manifesting deliberately what we want in our lives. A hairy concept trapped in fuzzy minds and vice versa. Psycho-emotional bonding and binding. The deification of escape to the consciousness. The methadone for the masses. Religion definitely was a narcotic for a lot of us, okay? The trap of defining the way, which is the prescribed truth, rather than discovering and uncovering it with one's own inner truth. A proxy for numinous life encounter. The corpse of religiousness, the ultimate drug, a unifying group dynamic arising out of a set of fixed, affixed, fixated, and asphyxiating beliefs relating to the worship of an idea which offers fixed answers about one's place in existence. Religion, a very potent primitive drug, is consolation, conformation, and reformation. Religion is the metaphysics of fear and hope, clouded with the smokescreen of dogma. Religion is a behavior and mind control industry. It is fear management, not unlike the fictitious corporate state. Why inquire men of God when they know not themselves? Religion is the ultimate drug. Once you reach the high, you never come back, nor can you be reached. This is why you cannot connect with people who are still in it. They cannot hear you. They can't feel you. Religion is also a straitjacket put on consciousness by crooked priests of the clergy. The whole of religion is founded upon a dirty joke that has pimped man's psyche for centuries. Religion is for the young in consciousness who are not ready, spiritually mature enough to edit their own truths, nor ready to trust their own authenticity for unfoldment as divinity. Religion is a battlefield disguised as a lifeboat on the seas of fear and uncertainty, fully equipped with reality, defying absolute truth, perseveres that all too often destroys the lives instead of saving them. Now, again, this has been wiped, and we're going to find it. Functionary. You want to go look for it. It's function, F-U-N-K, not F-U-N-C.
Right.
Now, I'm going to add something in there, and I said I was going to be done, but let me let her know that we're going over just a little bit.
Okay.
And then I'm going to share that, and then it was one more thing I know you want to say, and we'll pull the card. Give us a second, y'all. Let me reach out to our city. You got it in your phone? Okay. So, anyway, if you don't know, okay, I feel like I'm able to discuss this not just from an intellectual standpoint because of my own experiences. Now, in 2005, my organs began shutting down. I was hospitalized, and they told I was messaging Kalila, and she don't understand what I'm saying. So maybe you want to reach out while I share this. So, in the hospital, the night prior to the surgery, I had this moment where I woke up and I couldn't move. And if y'all didn't see that video, this is when I first started YouTube. I couldn't move, and there was a being in the room with me, probably about 8 feet tall or taller, and it looked like a shadow person. That's all that I could see. And it said to me, "I've been trying to kill you since you left your mother's womb." And at the time, of course, I was a Christian, and so I knew no other way to understand that but that it was Satan, and, you know, he was coming to try to take my soul. You know, so I tried to rebuke him, and I couldn't speak. And so at that point, I began thinking, okay, I rebuke you and I cast you out. I rebuke you and I cast you out. The third time I said that, it did leave. So for those of you who are like, but the Jesus stuff worked. Yes, it did. But that's not because of Jesus. That's because of you. That's because of the divinity that's in you. We are very powerful. Right. Our words have power of life and death. Right. So that was because of you. You are the common denominator. Any prayers that you prayed in the name of Jesus that work, it was because of the divinity that is inside of you. Okay?
Exactly.
So I go to sleep. After this happened, I called a nurse to the room. I'm like, you know, was somebody on the floor? It was past visitation hours. No one had been on the floor. No visitors had signed in. They sit right by the elevator. Nobody had gotten off the elevator. So at that point, I knew that experience was real. Okay. So I fell asleep. And when I fell asleep, an angel came to me in a dream and said, yes, you're going to die in a few hours. But it's up to you. I'm just letting you know to tell the doctor and the nurses to have the resuscitation card ready for you. And so coming out of that, I was just like, I was overwhelmed. And my life has always been really, 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 really difficult. So at this point, you would think I would have a lot of people around me who loved me, but I didn't. I was alone. I couldn't find anybody to come to the hospital with me. And I'm not saying if somebody watching this and you was a friend back then or a sister in Christ, this is nothing against you. You know, I know people be busy and have their own lives, but I'm expressing my truth of how I felt. And in that moment, I felt very alone. And I felt like a lot of the good things that I had done were not being returned to me. And so I was in a dark place, you know? And I was like, well, if I am to die in surgery, it's really terrible that a lot of these people who say that they care about me, I can't even get them to answer their phone. I can't get them to return a text message. You know, you don't even have to be here, but at least respond to me. You know, it was like that. And so you could imagine how I was feeling at this time. And so I go into surgery. And I did. I flatlined. I left my body. I saw them working on me. All of that happened. You know, they put me on life support and everything. So when I finally came to, that same nurse that I had talked to, who came to my room that morning and told her I had a dream that said I was going to die and I need the resuscitation cart to be where I can see it to feel comfortable. And she did that. And she was just like, I've been a nurse 25 years. I don't think you're crazy. I believe you, which was really good because at that time I needed some validation. I had nobody to talk to. I knew nobody else that had been through this. So it's like, who do you talk to? You know what I'm saying about that? And she was just like, this is something that has happened to many of the patients who flatline in surgery. And she was like, this is not, it's not surprising to me. This event was just so amazing that the doctor thought that he had lost me, and he was really upset about losing a 25-year-old patient in what was a simple surgery to him. Fourth generation surgeon. That morning when they called to let him know that not only had I survived, but I was up speaking, I was asking for food, and I was trying to get up and walk. And he came to the hospital. He was so blown away by how much I had fought to get through that. And this doctor was not religious at all. And he prayed with me. First time in his life, prayed with me. And he got on his knees beside the bed and he prayed with me. I mean, it was just really, really mind blowing. And that was life changing for him. Make a long story short, so after having that experience, the next time that I had a near-death experience, I experienced what I would call hell. And this is when I happened to have, I don't remember if I had pneumonia or something, but I descended into hell. And I'm going to tell you what my experience was and how it relates to this. Even though I was in religion at the time, the way I experienced it was the way I understand it now as someone who studies metaphysics. So hell was a consciousness. It is your consciousness. It is the kingdom that is within you. So everyone has the ability to create their own hell and heaven, to create their own reality. And when I descended, it was utter darkness. The darkness was so dense, I couldn't see my hand in front of me, yet I could still see at a distance things that were going on. I had a man with me who expressed himself to be the Christ, and he walked with me throughout hell. And I was just there to see what it was like. The very first person that I saw was a white man who looked like he was probably in his early 50s maybe. And he was in this small lake of what kind of looked like tar or something. And it was like on fire in certain areas. And he was being tormented by these demons. And these demons were assigned to this man to torment him. And the torment for him was he could see that his children, who he had taught to have really, really savage ways of living and being, he could see that they were fully doing exactly what he did to get him there. And he was trying to warn them and tell them I was wrong and there are rules to life and there are things that you shouldn't do. They couldn't hear him. So for him, his form of hell within his consciousness was the regrets. And it was the things that he stood for and the legacy that he left in the form of the karma that he left for his own children. That was hell for him. So for each person, it was different. There were 9 different levels within hell because we went through all 9 levels. And so each person, again, whatever your biggest fears are for you, whatever ghosts that you have. And when I say ghosts, I mean, these are the dreams that die. These are the things that you know you should do, but that you don't. Those things torment you. So hell is a place in the form of consciousness, not so much so a location. With that being said, now I understand that this is why it's so important to master yourself, to go into the dark realms, to deal with your shadow aspects, to practice self-love, to seek the God that is within you so that you are able to master these things and you don't have to go into this consciousness, this reality, this dimension that is just made up of all of the things that you fear and the terrible things, about your life that you did not heal. So hopefully this gives you all some motivation and strength to keep going with this spiritual awakening process and the process of healing. And I also went to heaven in one of my near-death experiences, and I have the video on YouTube. Y'all can look it up and watch it. It was the complete opposite of that. Again, that is a consciousness. It is a dimension of the mind. All of the kingdoms are within us. Absolutely. Right. And so I was going inside of myself. So inside of you, yes, all of the things that you read about, they are inside of you. And that's what happens. And so this is a reason that you want to continue to work on your self-healing and mastering yourself, self-realization, so that you can get to the point of self-actualization. And you're able to then, at that point, you're able to get out of the forced reincarnation that a lot of humans have been experiencing. All right.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah. Though there's always experiences. I know, you've had those experiences. I've had some of those experiences as well. And it just, like she said, it just kind of brings home everything when you begin to open up your mind and you're not looking at things from just a religious standpoint, but you now understand metaphysically the makeup. You're understanding that there are different worlds and there are dominions. There are hierarchies. And like she said, when you go within, we've compartmentalized so much of our trauma.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're doing shadow work, once you get past, or once you feel like you have gotten to the core of one issue, then guess what? You got to turn and you got to deal with a whole nother issue. And you may have a number of issues that you have to deal with, a number of shadow aspects that you have to deal with. So that's like going from one room to the next.
Yeah.
Because when it's dealing with fear, guess what? You got a whole room full of everything that you stored in that fear room. If it's depression, if it's, you name it, whatever that shadow aspect is, that's what that's like.
Absolutely.
So right now, she's gonna get ready to pull for us.
Yeah, it's beautiful and it's amazing. And as we continue on this journey, it takes a lot of courage to do this. You do. You got to be willing to lose some friends. You got to be willing to lose some family members. Like, what are you willing to pay and sacrifice to live your authentic self?
Yeah.
That's just what it is. There's no way to sugarcoat that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you gotta be willing to accept people's opinions
We
of
used to
you.
have a lot right here. Exactly.
Huh?
I guess. So I can see.
I just do this.
So I was shuffling the cards as he was talking, and what came up just, oh my goodness, you can't make this up. And this is, wow. I'm just going to read it, okay? So what I pulled was the card. It's for them to be able to see the card too. Okay. Cracked open. You want the light and what you think?
Cracked open.
Now, while he's holding that card up, I'm going to tell you all what this is communicating for the collective, okay? So, this represents being at rock bottom. This represents surrendering to all of the alchemy that's transforming you in your life, okay? Now, it says, don't let the weight and density of the world squash your tender spirit. Instead, let it call even more of it to call you home into your own body. At the center front of your life, it's through the extreme pressure of life trials that diamonds are cultivated. It's when things are at their darkest that we cultivate proper faith and our light is ignited. It's through the crumbling that we can allow our wounds to be alchemized. Let your pain, let your sorrow, Yeah, thank you. And losses make you. I should have just let us cut the light on. You won't cut it on. I'm sorry. Thank you, baby. He deal with me, y'all. When you with somebody who's psychic, it's crazy. Boy, I seem like I be bipolar sometimes. Okay. So let me pick up where we left off. Okay, so allow the losses and allow the things in life that hurt you to break you open. Okay? Let life alchemize your tragedies into gold. Be open to being cracked open. We got to stop resisting being cracked open. And I know this easier said than done. It is a process. But healing is a process. It's not an event. Okay? Be patient with yourself. But be open. Be wide open. It is the difficult times that help us to grow in leaps and bounds. And in ways we could only dream were possible. But first, they have to crack us open. Sometimes it hurts like hell. Y'all hear this? This card literally is just lit as to everything we talked about.
Yeah. Y'all see how it look like it's she's being cracked right open, cracked down the middle.
Right through the middle.
Yeah.
So whether you let it happen or not, it is nature's way. It is going to happen. So surrender to the process. This is how the light gets inside. When your heart cracks open, a space is created for your soul to more fully enter. Don't take my shoes off. Do y'all hear this? When your heart cracks open, and it's funny because the surgery that I died in after that first time was an open heart surgery. So this is really, and I have been wanting to share that with y'all, that I kind of been holding on to it. So now I know I need to go ahead and tell y'all that bit as soon as I finish saying this. But this is crazy. It says, when your heart cracks open, a space is created for your soul to more fully enter. When your soul cracks open, a place is created for the grace of the Holy Spirit. We've been talking about that. That's your higher self to enter. Let your trials, your sorrows, and your pains and your losses transform you into more and more of your authentic self. Stay open to the possibility that your tragedies and your losses and your sorrows and your hurt, it happened for you, not to you. Bless the thing that broke you down and cracked you open, because the world needs you open. Surrender to the alchemy of life. And the question that you want to ask yourself to allow you to connect with your higher self on a deeper consciousness is, how can you let life crack you open? And I want y'all to really, throughout the next week until the next show, I want you all to really press in with that and ask yourself that every single morning and every single night. How can you let life crack you open? Now, with that being said, let me share with y'all the story about my heart surgery, and then we're going to have to get off of here. We're getting to the point now, though, we're going to be able to afford to, go hard for hours with y'all. Yeah, ashe. Abundance in every way. But what happened was, I knew what was wrong with me, and I knew I was going to die, but the doctors kept telling me it was nothing wrong, I was okay, and they felt like I was just acting this out because I was trying to manipulate to get narcotics, okay? So they discharged me and sent me home. I got home. I couldn't breathe. I told my dad, please take me back to the hospital. I'm about to die. And he immediately took me back to the hospital. He had never heard me talk like that before. So he knew, at that point, he knew how strong of a prophet I was. So he trusted my intuition. So he rushed me to the hospital. I passed out on the hospital floor. I was sitting out in the waiting room for about 3 hours. I passed out. I just remember people trying to resuscitate me, him picking me up off the ground, walking me to the back. They got me to the back. They're like, we don't know what's wrong with her. She just got discharged a few hours ago and she's back already. And I'm hearing all this. Yes, sickle cell patients, they just, they get on my damn nerve. I'm just so sick of this, all this. I'm hearing all this. It just was so much to take in at one time. My heart literally was broken. It hurts so much.
She talking about their thoughts.
It hurts so much to hear people think like that about you, and you know that your life is on the line. You know that something is truly wrong with you and you need help, and that's all that you're asking for, and you're being accused of manipulating to get drugs. I can't even, it was like my heart was breaking physically and spiritually at the same time. So anyway, I could talk a little bit, and I was like, echo, echo, echo. I was telling them, echo, do an echocardiogram. They did the echocardiogram. They saw fluid around my heart. My whole pericardium sac was infected and filled with fluid, basically pus. And it was so much of it that it had begun to build up in my lungs as well. They tried to aspirate my lungs with a needle. They just take this really big needle and stick it in between your ribs, or and try to pull the fluid out. And the fluid was so thick the syringe wouldn't even pull it out. At that point, they realized we're gonna have to take her into surgery. I got a cracked rib now too, and I'm starting to believe that's when it happened. But nobody's accountable when shit like that happened to you, right? So anyway. So I go into surgery, and all I remember was my blood pressure was dropping so much. They were like, we're losing her, we're losing her, we're losing her. And so at that point, they were like, we can't put her to sleep because her blood pressure is too low. And so the doctor was like, okay, ketamine. They went and got some ketamine, gave me that. And it's basically a tranquilizer. So you can still feel, you're still conscious, but you cannot move. They gave me that. They began splitting me open. At this point, I realized, oh my God, I'm dying. Not only am I dying, but the pain is killing me too. So I'm literally in this moment begging to die. Just let me die. Don't try to save me. This is too much. Let me die. And so as they're splitting me open, I feel my hand. I'm trying to grab the surgeon's hand because I'm like, maybe they don't know that I can feel this, And so that's when I realized I could move. And after that, I left my body. When I left my body this time and went to what you would call heaven, and this form of consciousness. And so I had an experience where I saw faces of millions and millions of people that I would meet, and people I would have an impact on in the rest of my life here if I chose to come back here. And I did, and I chose to come back here. And so that's on YouTube. Yeah, it's a real old video, but you can find if you look for it. Just type in Campson and heaven, near-death experiences should come up. So to make a long story short, the purpose of me saying that to you is sometimes in this spiritual awakening and you trying to figure out who your authentic self is and heal your core wounds so that you can be self-realized and self-actualized and master yourself and live as an integrated person who is actually wholly made whole with your higher self, and not suppressing your shadow self, but you actually giving attention and love to all parts of you. To get to that point, sometimes you cannot be given a opioid, a narcotic, or something that's going to take away your consciousness. Sometimes you have to be given something that is going to tranquilize you and put you in a position that you cannot move, and it is for your safety. So if some of you feel like you're not moving forward in your spiritual path and in your life, and you kind of feel like I'm moving in circles, I'm running in one spot. And it's most times it's for your protection, because what you're trying to manifest, you're not really ready for, and it could be your demise. And so if you feel stuck, if you feel like you've been tranquilized, I need you to know and understand that if you're going through this process, if you're experiencing the dark night of the soul, you're experiencing depression, these highs and these lows, you're getting lycos and downloads, and just there's so much happening, core wounds are coming to the surface. Something could get triggered all the time. You're constantly being reminded how fucked up of a person you are and how much you need to heal. You're constantly being reminded how bad the programming is. You're feeling like a bad parent because a lot of the shit that you picked up, you're seeing yourself do it with your own children. You're seeing your shadow self in your children. It's a lot. And you're like, damn, this is a lot, And some people, a lot of starseeds, just to the point they don't want to live anymore. They want to die. They want to commit suicide. They may not have the courage to do it. So they just start living in a way that is very high risk, having risky sex with people you cannot trust. All of these things are signs of someone who doesn't want to be here anymore. It's not always someone who's taken a handful of pills or slitting their wrists. It can happen in many ways, and you can really reach that rock bottom and be that low. But I want to say to you that with my open heart surgery, and this aligns with the card and everything we talked about, the doctors explained to me why they had to do it that way. And they were like, if we would have given you something that sedated you and put you to sleep, we would have lost you and you would not have had a chance to come back. And so we just had to tranquilize you to keep you safe. So yes, I'm sorry you had to be conscious and you had to feel that pain. And that's where we are. You having to be conscious.
And you gotta feel the pain.
You're not numb anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the things you used to numb yourself don't numb you anymore. Maybe some of the things that used to make you feel better don't anymore. Some of the foods that were comfort for you now make you sick. Some of the people that you found just this deep connection with, you don't even talk to them no more. They don't even understand who you are. Or maybe they rebuking you. Or they treat you bad. Or they talking about you behind your back. So it's like all of the stuff that you use for comfort to get you through is not working anymore. And now all of a sudden you're being forced to feel all of the things that you denied yourself feeling throughout the process. So if you're feeling stuck, sometimes that is a tranquilizer spiritually to protect you so that you're not moving too fast and doing too much. And so for some people, they want us to talk about dark magic and connecting with primordial force energies and connecting with demons and discussing the Klepoth and discussing manifesting with demons. And honestly, if you have not been able to master yourself and if you've not been able to face your own demons, then you're not ready for that. And that's just a form of spiritual bypass. And because you're trying to find comfort and you're feeling like I need to go to the most extreme thing that I can find to fix things, because maybe working with angels is just not getting it. I need to work with demons. And I want to say to you, all of that exists within you. Right. So by you mastering yourself, you are doing dark magic. Exactly. You know, you are a light worker. You are all of it. A light worker who does dark magic. Like, it don't even make sense, but it makes sense to you because you have been called to a time such as this. This is the time for your soul to awaken because you are ready. Okay, you are mature enough spiritually to be here standing in this space. A lot of people are not. And so for some people, religion is the umbilical cord. It is the opioid. It is the narcotic that numbs them and allows them to be able to get through life. And we don't want to take that away from people. Right. If that's what's working for them and that's helping them to survive, if being at church all day, Sunday, and whatever else, like, leave people there because that's their own path and journey. It is not for us to press what we believe and what we know onto them because they're not ready for it. So again, sometimes you have to be a tranquilizer to people, and you have to learn how to not try to move people from where they are, but leave them where they are, because everybody got free will and we can decide and choose for ourselves.
That's right.
So I wrote this life code down. I never really talked about my heart surgery, with y'all, and I kept saying I was going to share that light code. I never got to do it, and it came up in the damn tarot card reading. So there we go. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I
said a mouthful.
Ashe. And that's with love. I mean, that's powerful. That's a powerful testimony. That's a powerful journey. That's a powerful experience. But what you can grasp and garner from all of that is that do not despise where you are.
Yeah.
Trust your process.
Yeah.
Trust what you're going through. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? And embrace it. We were just talking about, and then we're gonna say this, and then we're gonna get off. But we were just talking about being able to really just embrace your dark side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? From our programs, that's something that we've always shunned away from. You know what I'm saying? No, we want to be right. What's the thing about us that we just want to be right? We got to be right about everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We try to be right in everything we do. But we have to also realize that, guess what? Sometimes we just going to be wrong.
Yeah.
And we got to, that's just a part of us.
Yeah.
That's the whole, nature of us, being light and dark, up and down, above and below. You know what I'm saying? Just we don't even equate it to good and bad, but I'll say positive and negative.
Yeah.
Because we're energy beings.
Yeah. Harmful or beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah. With all that being said, I know a lot of you are dealing with these dark moments, even if it's not constantly all day. And I just want to affirm to you and let you know that we are experiencing that as well.
Yep.
It's not all love and light.
Yep. That's how we're able to come and,
exactly.
and deal with these things. Yep.
Yeah. We couldn't come before you unless we were actually going through the motions and experiencing it and practicing ourselves. And it feels like a lot, but trust me, what's on the other side of this is so much glory that the suffering is not going to even matter.
Yeah.
And we're resolving things, not just for ourselves and not just for our bloodline and our descendants, but like we're resolving shit like from all the ages of earth. That's a big deal. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so when you're called to something that's so great, and when you know that you are the few that's chosen, don't even expect anybody to understand you.
That's right.
or your path or your journey. And you don't have to be defensive about it.
This channel, you know, we call ourselves Remnantsgathering, and it's basically you are just gathering all the remnant and fragments
Yeah.
of your lost self as you're coming back into being whole, as you're coming back into being one with yourself.
Yeah.
We love y'all.
We love y'all. Sit with your darkness.
Yep.
Okay? Sit with yourself. Just to self. Matt Kahn, we want to recommend him. To me, he's one of the best teachers for dealing with darkness right now.
With
But
your
yeah,
heart,
practice. Yeah, practice is the heart is the gateway. Just practice, okay?
Yeah.
So laying your hand on your heart, just saying, I love you. I love you. Even right now, you can do it right now before we get off. Matter of fact, I think we should probably close with some I loves you. I love yous. For yourself, I love you. I love you. Say your name if you need to. This helps you to call yourself back into your body. Okay? I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. No one else needs to love you because I love you. I validate you. I appreciate you. Thank you for going through so much bullshit. And I'm still here. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to have days where I'm depressed. Thank you for the days that I can't get up and function. I can't think straight. Thank you for those moments. Thank you. I need you. I love you. I'm here for you. I will never leave you. I appreciate you.
Yes, gratitude.
Give gratitude for yourself for surviving.
Thank you.
Yes.
I love you. I love you.
And if you hear voices saying back to you, you full of shit. You don't love me. You don't love me. You don't love yourself. If you did, you wouldn't be in this relationship with this person. You wouldn't be doing this. You wouldn't be at this job that you hate. You go hear all that, and that's okay. Write it down.
Yep.
Okay? That's going to help you to have communication with your shadow self, with your ego self, with all of the parts of you. You're going to get a chance to have an open dialogue. It's not about monologue, okay? It's about dialogue, okay? Spiritual process cannot happen without dialogue. So give a voice to those things, okay? Don't let those thoughts just run around in your head in circles. Put them on paper and make them tangible. When you write down that dark shit, that lets that part of you know, wow, someone is finally paying attention to me. You know?
Because it's there.
Everybody got it.
It is there. It's
Absolutely.
in us. You know what I'm saying?
And so sometimes the shadow self needs to be triggered in that way.
Yeah.
So give a whole lot of love to your bullshit, your flaws, the things you don't like, the things you want to change. Just give a lot of love to it and see how it responds to you. See what thoughts come to your mind and know that is you communicating with all the other fragments of you. And it's going to help you be whole and master yourself because you know yourself. And remember, when you seek God first, not other people, okay? When you seek God first, everything else will be added to you.
But ye are gods.
Ye are gods and goddesses. So hopefully this is y'all favorite 901 God and 901 Goddess.
Yeah.
And,
y'all know what it is, man.
Right.
Country.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was lit. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe. You know, it's growing, and we appreciate y'all so much. The readings have been phenomenal. I ran that special, and a lot of people, they last $25, and they sent it to me to do the reading. And so if you were one of those people, thank you so much. I'm humbled that you would even give me your last, that you even believe in the divinity that is in me, because I believe in the divinity that is in you, and we're able to connect and just make some beautiful things happen. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for everybody supporting us. Thank you to the moderators who are up in here with us, helping us to promote the channel, because we don't do enough ads and promotions and all that. I don't know. That's just... we're going to have to hire somebody to do that for us. And I do believe we're going to be able to be to that point where people believe in the journey enough to say, you know what, I would like to work for Remnantsgathering. I would like to help you out with this. And so if that's you and that speaks to you, just email us at remnantsgathering@gmail.com and let us know if you want a reading. Let us know. And yeah, we're going to make sure that we post the egg divination. We're going to post pictures of our results for you to see and kind of get an idea of what it looks like. And your comments in the chat, if it was some questions in there, we're going to go through it too. And and then it helps us to create content moving forward. So even though we didn't get a chance to read it tonight, we will. And thank y'all so much. We love y'all. And as we always say,
Man, your third eye has just been kissed.
Peace.